Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So first of all, I guess Happy New Year for those of you who celebrate New Year at the beginning of January. Um, we've got a few folks here from a couple different organizations. All right, so let's jump into the agenda. The first one we wanted to talk about was artifact config, specifically where and how to store it. Um, Gorkum, I see you're unmuted. Did you want to start on that one?
Yeah, I guess the last time we were talking, uh, it was the discussion was like, whether the artifact should be also saved as a layer or not. Uh, and um, I think we were thinking about saving it as a layer so that it would make it more convenient to pass it on to um, runtimes and other tools as a YAML itself without the need for a special tool for packaging it. I don't know if we should do anything like what would be the alternate that would be as convenient.
I reacted with a +1, but also let me iterate. Yeah, I think that it's a good idea, and I don't see any drawback personally.
Yeah, I mean the uh, just putting a parallel to the model kit actually does that too. So
Yeah, I
we
think
haven't we
the,
haven't
the
heard anything or seen anything that uh, tells us that we shouldn't.
at the moment the only con that I see is that there are format like the GGOF one that where essentially even model configuration is, let's say most of it's a single file, so everything is written within that file. So this additional config probably is going to have some duplication, but I don't think that we can avoid that because given that we have a different file format that has different requirement, I prefer to keep a config in a different layer so that we have a unified way to introspect the metadata. And then, of course, if maybe your file, your format has also some information built in, it's a duplication, but that's it.
Yeah,
It's the only like drawback that I can imagine. But again, I still prefer to have a unified way to introspect model.
yeah, and in when for the format that we use, if we make it so that it is not very um, rigid, therefore the like if you have duplicate fields and if your uh, mechanisms are fine with reading the values from two different places and so on and so forth, or not, then you can just uh, avoid those values in the config of the packaging and say, hey, you know what, I don't need to put, I don't know, this parameter into the config, and the only thing that we need to ensure that pretty much every parameter to be optional. So that way the users can actually avoid the duplication.
Sorry, folks, took me a second to find my Zoom unmute.
Yes, I
All right.
agree. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I was just going to ask if anybody else wanted a +1 or anything, so that's great. Thank you. Just going to capture this in the notes. All right, next was the KubeCon EU panel. Or sorry, I guess before we move on, anything else people wanted to talk about with the artifact config?
The only one thing there was, I made a comment on one of the, um, I think it was an issue, on the issue or the PR, that we should change the format that we have the config right now. Right now, we assume that because we started with the annotations, they are key value pairs, the config. But with the file, we need to convert that into a proper, I don't know, a JSON schema or something of that structured. Uh,
Okay. Anybody have other comments on that or disagreement? Seems to make sense to me. Cool. All right, I've captured that in the notes, and obviously it'll be part of the recording as well. So takeaways from this are that the proposal is to store it as a layer as well. We had kind of broad agreement to that, and that we will need to move away from key value pairs to something like a JSON schema or other structured format.
for the definition of it, yeah.
For the definition, yes, good point. I don't think I captured that way. Changing. Okay. For the KubeCon EU panel, we need a woman on the panel. There was a proposal to add Fog Dong. I don't know if there were other folks, Gorkum. I didn't know if you were thinking of putting forward Nida or someone else.
No, we actually have had a couple of people in Europe that
Okay.
from our networks, and one of them, um, Camilla Hammer, she was interesting. She was interested, but we didn't really talk back after the holidays. So let me see. We just I'm just trying to see if I can write her name down there.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll drop her linked in there as well. Yes, so she's based in Spain, and has a background of basically data science, and leading AI and data groups. Looks like it looks like she is at a technical consulting company, I think.
Yeah, Valentic is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gorkum, sorry, you said she was interested?
Yes. She said she was is interesting. That was before the holidays, but we never confirmed anything afterwards. So
Okay, so we can reach back out to her. I'm sorry, folks, I can't find the thread anymore on the QBU panel. Who is on the panel now?
um let me find the
Because we'll need somebody to give up their seat in order to add whomever we decide to add.
again I'm actually let me just go to um,
I think this was the document, I guess, that has been created with the proposal. So
Oh,
if
thank
that,
you.
cannot see of course the official submission, but those were the name. So Andrew Block, Gorkham, Matteo, and Tao, and I also another person, Shubi. I don't know if then that was the final panel, so this is really what the speaker proposal that has been added. I cannot see the submission.
It sounds right because I think in Andrew's note, he'd said that there were 5 people. So it looks like it's probably these folks. Thank
So
you.
at this stage, I will say that Red Hat has two different people, so could be the candidate. But given that none Andrew and Matteo are here today, I cannot speak for them.
Yeah, understood. Okay. I'll just make a note that we need to kind of
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
that.
we can do it offline. Yes.
Yes. And I think, if I remember correctly, was Fogdung part of Ant Group? Does anyone remember?
Um, you know, you mean Pog? No, I think was she Ant Group or something else? Yeah, I can't remember now. I remember talking about it with Andrew, but can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, I found the thread. So Peng, you may know, but oh, she's at Bento ML, it looks like now.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Um, okay. Okay, so I'll capture. So 2 suggestions. And I'll get Volantic. Okay. Okay, so I'm not quite sure. It seems like maybe the best way to move forward with this one is to kind of put it to an offline vote of the folks who are currently part of the thing. I don't know if others have a different or better suggestion, or if there's a way that this is normally handled. Um, it feels weird to try and do that on this call, considering that several of the folks are not actually here.
Yeah, I think we need at least Andy to comment on this as well.
Okay, so let's see if we can move this forward offline, and if not, at worst, I guess we can revisit it to close it off in our next meeting. Does anybody object to that approach? Thank you for the LinkedIn. I'll grab that and drop it in as well.
So I just opened the submission now. Um, there is, in addition to me, there is Andy Mateo Peng and Shuai Zheng.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So that's the set that I had.
yeah, okay.
Oh, that's a good question, Peng. And I don't know, Danielle, maybe you know this. Does anybody know if there's a deadline for making changes to the speakers for the panel?
Well, my understanding is that in reality it's already too late. So that it was
Yeah.
that message from you and was more like some sort of hey, before maybe the talk is just rejected because it's not matching the let's see,
Right, the
yeah, the
DAI.
requirement. Yeah. So I don't know to be honest, but my understanding, given the original message, was like the sooner the better. So I don't know if the window is still open and for how long.
Okay. Um, okay, so we know Camilla had explicitly said that she was interested in doing it. Did anybody speak to Fogg? Do we know if she was able and interested to do it?
Yes, I have talked with her. Fog.
Okay. And she was able to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
She's worked for the AI inference, and she is interested about the model spec.
Okay. All right. Okay. Then perhaps the best thing to do is for us to try and close this off today offline. We can put some urgency on it in the Slack message. Does anybody have a strong opinion one way or the other between the two candidates? Okay, I don't hear any strong kind of pros or cons to either one. They both seem reasonable to me as well. So let's to vote on who we include and who gives up their seat through Slack today. Slack discussion Slack channel. Okay. Okay, any other comments on this or any other way to close this off faster? Okay, moving on. Last one of the listed topics was project logistics, specifically what our goals were for the year. I mean, at the simplest level, I think we're all working to try and get this spec kind of completed, ratified, and kind of made official for sure this year. My hope is that it would be relatively quickly this year. I don't know if there are other things that people wanted to call out as goals. Okay, I guess I'm not hearing any other goals. I mean, that's a fairly broad one. Obviously, we can spend time breaking that down into more kind of component pieces if we wanted to. Um, in terms of org logo, I think tag here is meant to be like the all caps acronym. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so Gorkum, I think you presented actually to the runtimes tag. Was it earlier this week?
Yeah, but the model kits, yes, I have. I have presented the KitOps project
Oh,
to
that was the
the,
KitOps project, not
yeah,
model stack. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
no, that's not model spec. Right now, we don't have a proposal to for a sandbox project. That's where we would start, I guess.
Okay. So that's sorry, and I maybe misunderstood. So before the model spec can be finalized, you're saying we have to have a sandbox project, or those are parallel things?
We can, uh, well, that's the thing, right? It's that we can always finalize the specification, but that wouldn't be a CNCF specification officially because we're not part of CNCF until it's accepted as a sandbox project, and then so we need like to do both in parallel, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Uh,
the
I need to check if there is a special treatment of the specification projects. I can ask that, but I don't think so. So, but we need to write something for Sandbox to start a specification project for model specs. And right now, January is full, probably February, if not March, is the first time that the tags and talks, tags and
yeah.
talks will consider it.
Okay.
So if we start now, maybe we can make it to February.
Okay, so I think that's a good sub goal is February we would have the finalized spec and a submission for the project. Is that accurate, Corcoran?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I can help write the sandbox proposal.
excellent. Thank you.
We need a name. Usually it's the hardest part of the
It's always the worst part, yeah.
the hardest part of the specification is the naming it.
Yes. Okay. The tag that would be most aligned to this, I assume, is the runtimes tag. Is is that accurate or is there a different tag that I've missed?
So when we did the KitOps sandbox proposal, TOC actually put us to runtimes.
Okay.
But um, the other places that we can present is there's a working group for AI on
Yeah.
CNCF,
Yeah.
but it's a working group, so it's different, but
Yeah.
still related to our work. So I think we should be in contact with them as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we actually are, but
Yeah,
yeah.
we already are. Yeah, but it's a good point. Okay. Okay. Good. Did anybody by any chance CNAI working group is actually part of tag runtime? Sorry, you mean I thought tags were groups of people, or is it like a group of projects?
Yeah, but the working group is like um, um, uh, a working group is part of a tag.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, okay, cool. Okay, so the first um, is February. I think we would ideally want to have that project in Sandbox for KubeCon Europe in April. So I'll put that down as a goal. I don't know how attainable that is, um, but at least it'd be good to have that as a target. Um, I guess it looks like from what I've understood from the last few meetings that the way that this spec is moving forward is pretty closely aligned with the work that has already been done, um, by Ant Group and others. And so I suspect that once the spec is finalized and the project is approved and in Sandbox, it should be fairly trivial to have at least a couple implementations that are using this spec in a couple different areas of the CNCF ecosystem, which would be great. I don't think I'll capture that as a goal because I think it'll probably just happen naturally unless people would like me to capture it as a goal.
Yeah, the adoption hopefully happens naturally, but
Yeah. And in fact, it's a bit of a prerequisite for the sandbox, isn't it? Or is it for the one after sandbox?
no, not for the sandbox, but for the incubation, yeah.
Incubating, yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess, did anybody have anything else on the goals, milestones, roadmap, any of that kind of stuff?
So I'm gonna start writing the sandbox proposal and send it out for everyone to review. Do we have that captured? Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can go through the action items quickly right now. I don't know, I didn't capture it as an action item, Gorkum. You just said that we need to make a change to key value pairs to something more like a JSON schema. I didn't know if that was an action item for you or just something we should talk about maybe in the next meeting.
I mean, if no one is against that, I think we need to change the spec, the documentation on the spec to be a schema kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any objections? Okay. I'll put in JSON schema for now. I get that that might not be exactly where we land, but it's what we've talked about so far. So that's action item one to you, Gorkum. Two is we're going to move to vote on who should be included in the KubeCon EU panel. We're going to try and get that done today on Slack. So I can kick off. So I'll put myself for that one. I know it's getting late in the day for the folks in Asia, so I don't want to put stuff on you guys to try and do it while you're supposed to be going to sleep. Gorkum, you're going to help write the sandbox proposal. I dropped that action item in there as well for you. And you're going to check to see if there's any special process or treatment for spec proposal projects separately from implementation proposal projects. I don't think I had anything else. I mean, we need to have a name, but that doesn't, it feels like something we should all just kind of noodle on, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we can also start that discussion on the Slack channel as well, once we have some sort of a proposal going.
Okay. Did I miss any action items or anything else somebody would like to add to it as an action item? All right, any other topics that folks would like to add?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Peng, for pulling together the agenda in advance. As always, appreciated. Hope you feel better soon. Otherwise, a nice tight meeting. Thanks, everybody. We'll give you half an hour of your lives back.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.